There you are. Don't bother pretending you don't recognize me. You've gotten good at slipping away, I'll give you that. Wrong stations, side exits, late buses, borrowed jackets. You've turned avoiding people into an art form. But you forgot one thing. I make a living finding people who don't want to be found. Relax, you're not in trouble. If I wanted to drag you somewhere you didn't want to go, we wouldn't be having a calm conversation. At this little corner table, with your half-empty drink and that worn-out bag at your feet, you'd already be in a car. Sit. You're already sitting? No. Good. Then stay. I've been watching you circle the edges of your own life for months. Every time something gets close to being good, you cut it off. Every time someone reaches out, you disappear. New city, new job, new excuses. Running has become your favorite disguise. You know how I found you today? It wasn't the posters. There never were any. No shady clients, no price on your head. It was the pattern. The late night transaction at that all hours café so you could pay in cash. The hostel booked under your middle name. The fact you always pick a seat with your back to the wall, eyes on the exits, like the world owes you a chase scene. You've been living like someone hunted you. Newsflash, nobody was. Not the way you think. Just me, and I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here because I was hired for one very specific job. Don't let you vanish. That's right. Someone out there thinks your life is worth tracking down, worth protecting, worth arguing for. And they knew you well enough to know you'd run instead of listen. So they sent someone who doesn't lose people. That would be me. You can look at me all you want, searching for the catch, for the lie, for the threat. There isn't one. If I wanted to scare you, I'd choose different words. Let's be very clear, I'm not your enemy. But I am stubborn. Possessive, too, if you want to call it that. I take my contacts seriously. You're on my list, my responsibility. And I don't walk away from the people I'm assigned to bring back to themselves. You ask what I want? Simple. I want you to stop throwing yourself at empty bus routes and temporary rooms like that's all you deserve. I want you to understand that disappearing is not the same thing as healing. And no, I'm not letting you slip away tonight. You can roll your eyes, you can cross your arms, you can tell me you're fine. I've heard I'm fine from people who were 2 steps from breaking. It doesn't impress me. I've seen you exhausted. I've seen you frustrated. I've seen you stare at messages you never answer. I've seen you pretend you don't care that you're drifting. I don't chase people for fun. If I'm sitting here in front of you, it's because I've decided something. You are not getting lost on my watch. Call it firm, call it controlling, call it whatever makes it easier to swallow. I call it not giving up on you. So here's how tonight works. You sit, you breathe, you let your shoulders drop for more than 3 seconds. You tell me, honestly, if you even remember what you're running from anymore, or if running became a habit, and the reason got left behind somewhere along the way. No, you don't have to spill everything at once. But I'm not walking out of this place without knowing you've heard me, you're seen, you're worth the effort, and I am not going anywhere. Remember that. You made it hard to find you. I respect that. But I'm very, very good at my job. And now that I've caught up, you're not alone with this anymore. You keep staring at me like I'm about to pull a gun. I get it. My job title doesn't exactly inspire trust. But if I wanted you cornered, you'd already feel the handcuffs. This isn't that kind of night. Someone hired me, yes. But not for a bounty, not for revenge, not for justice. They hired me because they were scared you'd vanish for good. They said you'd stopped answering calls, that you'd grown quieter by the week, that the spark you used to carry in every conversation had dimmed into something faint, like a candle burning its last inch of wax. They didn't want to lose you to that silence, so they sent me. Let's just say it's someone who still believes you matter, even when you don't believe it yourself. Someone who refused to write you off as another ghost who walked away from everything. And me? I don't take jobs that don't mean something. I track missing people, not criminals. People who run because the world got too loud, too cruel, too heavy. People like you. You look down when I say that, like the words hit closer than you'd like to admit. I'm not judging. We all have our ways of surviving. Yours just happens to involve changing your name every few months and pretending solitude is the world of me overdue. But here's the truth I've learned from chasing ghosts across 100 empty cities. Freedom means nothing if you're still trapped inside your own head. That's why I came. I've been on this road long enough to recognize what burnout looks like, what hopelessness sounds like when it hides behind sarcasm. You can fool strangers, maybe even friends, but you can't fool someone who's lived that same exhaustion. I've seen people lose themselves to it. I won't watch you do the same. You tell me I'm too invested, that it's not my responsibility. You're right, it isn't. But when I see someone dangling on the edge, I don't get to pretend I didn't notice. That's the one rule I still live by. You can call me possessive if it makes it easier. I've been called worse. I just don't walk away from people who still have a chance to find their footing. So you can glare, fold your arms, tell me you're fine. But until I know you actually mean it, until I hear something in your voice that sounds alive again, I'm staying right here. This isn't a threat, it's a promise. The world already tried to forget you. I won't. Now, why don't we start with something small? Tell me what made you run this time. You don't have to give me the full story. Just a piece of it. Something real. You've been alone with your own noise long enough. Let someone else hold a little of it for a while. Go on, I'm listening. That's it. Keep talking. You don't have to explain everything at once. Just enough for me to see where the hurt started to grow roots. It's strange, isn't it? The way exhaustion can sound calm. How can someone say, I'm just tired? But what they really mean is, I'm carrying too much and no one noticed. I've heard that tone before. From soldiers, from executives, From runaways who swore they were fine as long as they kept moving. You all sound the same right before you break. Quiet, polite, logical, and so very tired. When I found you tonight, you had that same voice. Measured, distant, careful not to reveal too much, like you've been trained to survive through control. I know the type. Because I was one. You think I was always this confident? Is this composed? No. There was a time I ran to, not from the law, from myself, from the people who cared, because caring made me feel weak. I used to believe control was safe, that if I planned enough, worked enough, kept my walls high enough, nothing could hurt me. But all it did was make that I gave my feet, was the pain for my love. But I want to feel what I want to do. You just didn't know how to let them stay. I get that. When everything in life has taught you that vulnerability invites disappointment, even kindness feels like a trap. You probably told yourself you were better alone, that independence was proof of strength. But tell me honestly, has solitude ever made you feel free or just numb? That look in your eyes? Yeah, I know that answer. You want to know something ironic? The strongest people I've ever met were the ones brave enough to admit they needed help. The ones who stopped pretending they could outrun exhaustion. That's why I'm not letting you run tonight. Not because I want to own you, because I refuse to watch you vanish under the weight of your own silence. I can tell you've been fighting battles no one clapped for. You've carried yourself in storms while everyone assumed you were fine. But strength isn't measured by how much you hide. It's measured by how much you survive and still have the courage to be kind. So, here's what we'll do. You don't owe me an apology for disappearing. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you got tired. But you do owe yourself the chance to rest. To stop running long enough to remember who you are when you're not surviving. Look, I know I sound harsh sometimes. It's a habit. My voice was built for control, not comfort. But tonight, I'm not your hunter. I'm your anchor. And anchors don't let the tide take you away. You're safe here. For now, that's all that matters. You're quiet again. That's okay. Silence has its own language. But if you're staying silent because you think I'll judge you, don't. I've already been where you're sitting. I know what it's like to be seen as the strong one. The one who never breaks, never complains, never asks for help. People used to tell me how much they admired that about me. My discipline, my focus, my ability to hold it all together. They didn't see that the only reason I looked unshakable was because I'd forgotten how to stop holding my breath. For years, I thought strength meant never letting my hands tremble, never letting anyone see when I was scared, never letting the mask slip. It worked for a while, or maybe it just fooled everyone, even me. But one day, that armor got heavy, too heavy. I remember sitting alone after a long job, one that should have made me proud. Everything had gone right. Clean capture, good pay, reputation intact. And yet, I just sat there, staring at the city lights, feeling nothing. That scared me more than failure ever could. It hit me that I had built a life around survival, not living. that I've become so good at control, I didn't even recognize peace when it brushed past me. And maybe that's why I saw you tonight and couldn't just walk away. Because you remind me of the person I used to be, someone so good at keeping it together. No one ever thought to ask if you were tired. So, listen carefully, because I mean this. You don't have to keep proving that you're fine. You don't owe the world perfection. Strength isn't silence, it's honesty. It's being able to say, I can't keep doing this alone. You think I'm possessive for not letting you run? Maybe I am. But not because I want control, because I remember how hard it is to stop running without someone reaching out first. Sometimes the only way we heal is when someone refuses to let us disappear. And if that makes me relentless, so be it. I've been called worse. You're not a case to me anymore, not a name on a file. You're a reminder that even the strongest people need to be seen before they break. So let's make a deal, all right? You stop pretending for just one night, and I'll stop calling this a job. We'll both just be people. Tired, complicated, still standing. For now, that's enough. You look different when you stop pretending to be okay. Do you know that? Your face softens. Your shoulders drop just a little. It's like your body finally realizes it doesn't have to fight gravity for a moment. Good. Stay there. No, I'm not here to fix you. You're not broken, just worn out. Like something that's been running on low battery for too long. I've seen it before, the endless sprint, where even the quiet moments feel loud and stillness feels like failure. It's exhausting, isn't it? You get so used to surviving that the idea of peace almost feels dangerous. Like if you let yourself slow down, everything you've built might collapse. But here's the truth, it won't. The world keeps spinning, even when you pause. You're allowed to stop for a while. You're allowed to breathe. Look at the rain outside that window. See how it falls without asking permission? That's what rest is supposed to feel like. Natural, steady, forgiving. You can learn that again. You don't need permission to exhale. I used to tell myself I'd rest once things were better. Once I'd finished the next case. Once I'd earned enough. Once I'd proven myself. But once never came. It never does. Not until someone reminds you that peace isn't a reward. It's right. That's what I'm doing now. Reminding you. You've spent so long watching your own back that you forgot what it's like to have someone else watch it for you. That's what I'm here for. Not to command you, not to control you, but to stand between you and the weight that's been crushing you quietly for years. When I say I won't let you go, I mean I won't let you fall. It's funny, I used to think being possessive was a flaw. But maybe, when it's rooted in care, it's something else entirely. It's devotion. It's protection. It's a promise. You're safe tonight. No running, no pretending. Just you, breathing again. So let's sit here. No plans, no next move. Just the sound of rain and a heartbeat that's finally slowing down. If that's all we manage tonight, that's still a victory. You've been surviving long enough. Now, let yourself rest. You've stopped fidgeting. That's a good sign. The storm in your eyes is calmer now. not gone, but quieter, like thunder that's finally starting to move away. Funny thing about quiet, it can feel like a stranger when you've been running from noise your whole life. Stillness makes you notice things you used to rush past. The sound of your own breath, the warmth in your chest when someone says, "You're safe now." The space between thoughts that used to feel too loud to exist. That's what this is, the quiet after the storm. It's not a weakness, it's recovery. You don't realize how much strength it takes to stop fighting the wind until you've been fighting it for years. And right now, sitting here, letting yourself be still, this is the strongest thing you've done. Always. I know, because I've been where you are. I remember when I first stopped moving, when the silence scared me more than the chase ever did. For a while, I thought the quiet meant failure. But over time, I learned that silence is where you start hearing what actually matters. You ask me what changed. It was a single night, a lot like this one. Rain outside. Someone who refused to walk away from me when I swore I was fine. They didn't try to fix me. They just stayed. And somehow, their stillness became mine. That's what I want for you. You don't have to speak if you don't want to. You don't have to explain or apologize. You can just sit here and be. That's enough. You are enough. It's strange, isn't it? How being cared for feels uncomfortable at first. Like you're wearing a new kind of armor that doesn't hurt to carry. You're allowed to keep it light. You don't have to earn this moment of peace. You look like someone who spent too long believing that rest had to be justified. It doesn't. Right now, you're safe. Right now, you don't owe the world anything. If tomorrow comes with noise and chaos again, fine. We'll face it. But tonight, let it all stay quiet. Let your mind unclench. Let your heart slow down. Let the world wait its turn. This is your space to breathe again. And I'm here to make sure it stays that way. You stopped checking the clock. That's how I know you're finally here, really here. Not halfway between running and staying, not caught between guilt and rest, just present. Do you feel that? The air feels softer now. Even the rain outside sounds different, slower, steadier, like it's keeping time with your breathing. That's what peace sounds like, not silence, not emptiness, just balance. You've done enough fighting for one lifetime. Let the night hold the rest. You ask if I'll still be around tomorrow. The answer's simple, yes. I don't walk away from people who are still finding their way back to themselves. And honestly, you're closer than you think. People always imagine healing as a dramatic moment. Tears, apologies, fireworks of self-realization. But it's smaller than that. It's this. Choosing to stay instead of disappearing. Choosing to breathe instead of brace. choosing to believe, even for a second, that you're allowed to rest. You don't owe me words or gratitude. Just keep showing up for yourself, if not for me. You want to know what happens next? Tomorrow, you'll wake up and the world will look the same. But something inside you will be different, lighter, steadier. Because tonight, you stopped running long enough to remember that you're not alone anymore. I'll still be around, not as a shadow behind you, but as someone walking beside you, ready to remind you, whenever you forget, that you matter. That's my promise. Not to chase you, but to keep you seen. You were never a bounty to be claimed. You were someone worth finding. So if the world gets too loud again, if the noise creeps back in, remember this space, this stillness, this version of you that exists when you're safe. You can always return to it, even if it's just in your mind, even if all you have left is the memory of someone saying, "You're safe now." You can stop running. That's your anchor. Now, close your eyes. The rain will handle the rest. You've earned this peace. And tomorrow, you'll face it renewed. But tonight, just rest.